Today we are joined by Annalisa Cosenza, Group Environmental Sustainability Specialist, and Marco Procaccia, Group Procurement Analyst.
Thank you, Mirta.
Nice to be here.
As part of MAIRE sustainability journeys, suppliers are asked to share key information through SupplHi, the Adaptive SaaS platform used by MAIRE to manage the supplier relationship processes. One of the requests is for vendors to describe their science-based target, and that's why in this video we'll explain what they are, how they work, and why they're becoming increasingly important. So, Annalisa, what is a science-based target?
A science-based target, or SBT, is a greenhouse gas reduction target aligned with climate science and the goals of the Paris Agreement. It means contributing to the worldwide effort to limit global warming to 1.5 degrees above pre-industrial levels.
What key elements does a company need to define when setting an emissions reduction target?
There are a few key elements that a company needs to define. First, the base reference year, used to track emissions over time. It should be the most recent year that best represents the company's emission. Second, the target year by which the company aims to achieve the reduction. Typically, companies set both a near-term horizon, such as 2030, and a long-term one, like 2050.
So it's not just one target, but a timeline.
Exactly. And the third element is the target boundary, defining which emissions to include, for example, Scope 1, Scope 2, and Scope 3. Finally, there is the level of reduction itself, so how much the emissions will be reduced, either in absolute terms or intensity-wise.
And what makes a target science-based?
What makes a target science-based is its level of ambition. The target needs to follow a specific trajectory aligned with climate science. Best practices suggest about a 42% reduction in Scope 1 and Scope 2 emissions by 2030, around 25% with Scope 3, and roughly a 90% reduction across all scopes by 2050.
Why is setting science-based targets so important?
Today, science-based targets are widely recognized as the global standard for credible climate targets. Adopting an SBT approach along the entire supply chain, starting right now, it's a pillar of MAIRE decarbonization strategy.
That is also why MAIRE asks suppliers to provide this information through SupplHi, to make it a part of its broader approach to supply chain sustainability.
Marco, in practice, what does this mean for companies? Are there any benefits?
Suppliers with science-based targets are increasingly seen as strategic partners, become more competitive, and may gain stronger positioning with clients and end users. Moreover, SBTs also improve suppliers' efficiency. Reducing emissions often means optimizing energy use, operations, and costs over time.
Is there any evidence of financial advantages?
Yes. According to SBTI, companies report very impactful financial results and reputational benefits after adopting SBTs. Moreover, financial institutions are also prioritizing low-carbon portfolios, and SBTs can also facilitate access to financial programs while reinforcing companies' reputation.
Let's take a step back. What is SBTI?
The Science-Based Target Initiative, or SBTI, is the leading global standard for setting and validating science-based targets. It provides methodologies, tools, and guidance to ensure targets are credible and aligned with best practices. Companies can decide whether to undergo a non-mandatory validation process and be listed on the SBTI target dashboard, increasing transparency and credibility.
And so, Annalisa, is the process the same for everyone?
No, not exactly. There are some differences depending on company size and sector. For example, small and medium enterprises can follow a simplified validation pathway to reduce complexity.
So, where should a company start?
Typically, companies start by aligning their carbon footprint with GHG protocol standards. Then they use SBTI guidance to define targets. A good practice is to focus first on near-term targets and then build towards a long-term net zero strategy. This allows companies to move quickly, limit costs, and start communicating their commitments right away.
Thank you, Annalisa. Thank you, Marco. This gave us a clear view of what science-based targets are and why they matter for suppliers looking to stay competitive within MAIRE supply chain.